Hello and welcome. Today we're doing something a little different. We're not just reviewing a book, we're really diving into a story that asks a huge question. How do you end a love story? Especially one that was born from tragedy. So let's get into Yulin Kuang's absolutely stunning debut.
Everything really starts right here, with this dedication. It tells you everything you need to know about the soul of this book. On one hand, it's this deeply personal, intimate love letter. And on the other, it's this incredibly powerful, validating message for so many people. And that duality, that's the beating heart of this entire novel.
So let's talk about it. Let's get into what makes this story so beautiful, so incredibly complicated, and, well, so unforgettable. Okay, so the basics. The book is How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kuang. It just came out in 2024, and while you'll find it under contemporary romance, it's got all the depth and complexity of serious literary fiction. It's tackling themes that feel so relevant right now. And listen, this is a really important point. If you're looking for, a light and fluffy escapist romance, this might not be it. But if you love stories that have real psychological weight, and if you're fascinated by how people can genuinely grow and heal from the past, then this book is 100% for you. So, let's get to the heart of the conflict, because the whole story is built on this one shared tragedy, this shadow from the past that has our two main characters completely tied together. Picture this. 13 years ago, you have Helen Zhang and Grant Shepard. They're just teenagers, but they're connected by this absolutely devastating event. Flash forward to today, and they're both successful writers who suddenly find themselves, very unexpectedly, and trust me, very reluctantly, in the exact same Hollywood writer's room. And you can just imagine, right? That writer's room becomes a total pressure cooker. I mean, it's a classic forced proximity story, but the stakes here are so profoundly emotional. Every little comment about a script, every creative disagreement, it's all just layered with 13 years of unspoken pain and guilt and grief. This quote really captures the book's whole perspective on trauma. The story shows us that grief isn't something you just, get over. It's this constant presence, this invisible architect that shapes who you become. For Helen and Grant, it's basically a third character in every single room they share. And this, right here, brings us to the central question of the entire novel. Is this incredibly powerful pull between Helen and Grant, is it actually love? Or is it something way more complicated, and maybe even a little dangerous? The book just dives headfirst into this idea of trauma bonding. It's that intense, almost magnetic connection you can feel with someone because they are the only other person on the planet who truly understands the specific shape of your pain. But the novel forces us to ask, is that understanding a foundation for real love, or is it just a shared prison? Just listen to this for a second. We are not bound by love, but by the memory of pain. Wow, that just captures that terrifying loop so perfectly. They're not looking at each other and seeing a future. They're looking for forgiveness for a past they can't seem to shake. It's just this painful, endless reflection. And as if that massive internal struggle wasn't enough, the story layers on all these external pressures too, especially for Helen. As the eldest daughter of immigrant parents, she's in this constant battle between what her own heart needs and the crushing weight of family duty. I mean, this just breaks your heart, doesn't it? It shows how chasing that external validation, that approval from your parents, can literally bankrupt you emotionally. It forces Helen to silence parts of herself, which just makes the real work of healing that much harder. So, where does all this lead? Well, this is where the book does something amazing. It completely subverts what you'd expect from a typical romance by championing an idea that is both radical and, honestly, profoundly healthy. And here it is. This is the key. The book argues that sometimes real healing actually requires separation. It pushes back so hard against that love conquers all idea. It suggests that love can't even begin until you've faced your own demons, by yourself. The bravest thing here isn't staying together, it's having the courage to walk away. But don't worry, this isn't a story without hope. Not at all. After taking us through the absolute necessity of healing on your own, the novel brings us to this beautiful, really mature resolution. And this right here is the ultimate message. Mature, authentic love doesn't pretend the past didn't happen. It's not a magic eraser for your wounds. Instead, it's a conscious choice made by two whole, healed individuals who decide to carry their scars together with grace. It's love that's born from hope, not from need. Just beautiful.
So, what really makes this book shine? Well, it masterfully shows the difference between trauma bonding and real love. It treats grief with such incredible psychological depth. The depiction of family and culture feels so authentic. And honestly, it just has the courage to go to places that a lot of other romance novels won't touch. All right, let's bring it all together. What's the final lesson we can pull from this incredible story? And what are the big takeaways for us?
If you take just one thing away from this, let it be this: you cannot build a healthy partnership on a broken foundation. This novel argues so powerfully that healing is individual work. True love isn't about finding your other half. It's about two whole people choosing to build a life together. And what's really cool is the book inspires some practical self-reflection. You could even try this yourself. For just 24 hours, do a little audit of your relationships. Ask yourself, are you drawn to people's strengths or their wounds? Or try spending just 15 minutes a day alone with your emotions. And finally, think about whose approval you're chasing and what it's really costing you. For its emotional depth, its psychological courage, and just its beautifully crafted story, this book earns a resounding 9 out of 10. It is a near-perfect, absolutely essential read for anyone who wants to understand the real complexities of love and healing. And hey, if you loved the emotional journey of this book, I highly recommend Emily Henry's People We Meet on Vacation. It's got that amazing, witty exploration of a complicated, long-term connection. And of course, Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us for its unflinching look at really difficult relationship dynamics. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. If you appreciate these kinds of explorations into the stories that really challenge us, move us, and shape us, please go ahead and follow and subscribe for more. We'll see you next time.